And Anne and Jenny join us now. Good morning, ladies. I have to say, my dad is the biggest fan of your shows. Why do you think people are such devoted? I mean, he watches it every single day.
I think because everyone's dad and everyone's mum watches it. Everyone has been introduced to it by someone's dad or mum.
Yeah.
I think it is very much a mum and dad show.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing, Jenny, isn't it? And obviously I've had experience of this because the way that Tipping Point and The Chase sat together and ITV have created this amazing quizzing time, and with Lingo at 3 o'clock or Pictionary now as well, that a show like The Chase just becomes woven into the fabric of people's everyday lives. It's not, I don't think it's just a quiz show anymore. It's more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, the clock.
Yes.
You know when that music starts. As our friend Lucy says,
yes.
Her kids are expecting fish fingers and chips, the smell of fish fingers and chips when they hear the music for The Chase. It's part of the routine, and I think especially so when we were all in lockdown. People needed something to judge time by, and it was sort of the end of the working day. Everyone could sit down together. You could get on your WhatsApp group with the rest of your family and still play along like you would have done anyway. And so it's not a guilty pleasure anymore. It's part of the fabric of life, as you say.
And you must, Anne, because I get this a lot, and I know Bradley will as well, but you must get people coming up to you telling you about how your show has become so important to the family member, that there's somebody in their family that has experienced something, but The Chase was always there for them, and you've become a really integral part of their family.
You do. I mean, I've just got back from Panto, so in fact it's Jenny, and when I was doing Panto in Scarborough, so many people would just come up to me randomly in the street and say, well, it's so lovely to meet you, and I'm coming to the Panto, and so much recognition, which was really, really nice.
It must have really changed your lives, though, in a personal way. In
Absolutely.
what way has it changed your life, Anne?
Well, money.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, definitely money. And, you know, just recognition and exposure, and suddenly discovering I have millions of friends I didn't know about.
Yeah. And then, Jenny, you were originally working behind the camera on the show, first of all. And Anne, were you something to do with how Jenny then
Jenny was a question setter in the very first series.
Yeah, the pilot run, there were just 2 question setters. They obviously were just trying it out and not hopeful it would go on forever. In fact, the other person writing the questions is now an egghead. So it's
you got some
strange how this comes round. So I wrote those questions and set the show off on the road to success, and then Anne joined down the road, and I was quizzing alongside Anne, and she had a little recommendation for me.
Well, she invited me to join her quiz team in Bolton. Right. So we quizzed together for a few years, and then I knew that they were looking for a new female chaser. And I was sort of thinking my way round the quizzing circuit and thinking, well, the obvious candidate really is going to be Jenny.
Yeah, obvious. And let's talk about the characters as well, because the Governess, who's the Governess based on?
She's based a bit on one of my horrible grandmother. Not the nice one, but the horrible one.
Right, OK.
And she's based on one of my aunts, who was also horrible.
Do any of your family recognise those traits? Do they say, have you based that on old grumpy old so-and-so?
I don't know. I mean, I think probably the Governess has ended up being nicer than both of them.
Wow.
Yeah, people... I've had people say that there's something about the Governess that reminds them of Professor McGonagall.
Yes, there is a little bit of that.
Yeah, there may be an element of that.
And what about the Vixen then, Jenny? Where did the idea of the Vixen come from?
Well, the producers gave me quite a bit of leeway. They wanted me to create my own character.
Yeah.
So really, the Vixen she's me, but the confident me that I can be. If I'm on stage singing a song, that suddenly this slightly different personality comes out, I feel stronger, more confident, and the costume actually really helps with that. Being able to put on almost a suit of armour, the glasses, the big hair.
Were there other iterations of her before you settled on the look that she is now?
A very slight sort of evolution into that, but I was quite involved in the design, actually. I sent lots of pictures, essentially, of Christina Hendricks in Mad Men.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
I thought, that's the kind of vibe I want, because she's a powerful
Kick-ass,
woman.
Yeah, she's absolutely gorgeous. But away from that, you're also singing. You've got all these different facets to your personality that are always complete opposites. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one way that The Chase has really changed my life, is that people want to hear me sing. I got to go on X Factor Celebrity, and I really enjoyed that, and it opened a lot more doors to me. It introduced me to a lot of people who can help me with that, and I get so much joy singing, and it's really lovely to find out that people get joy from hearing me sing.
Yeah.
And I get to share that now.
Oh, look at you on stage, just so glamorous and gorgeous, and you're such a brilliant performer, and I love it. I think one of the things that was really interesting about Beat the Chase, though, because the Chase is such a strong format, and I'm great mates with one of your execs, or a couple of your execs, Michael Kelpie, and I know that running the pilots to try and find Beat the Chases was not... You went through a number of different iterations for this format as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it got to a stage where I started to think of Beat the Chasers as a sort of zombie show. I thought, we're never going to get this right. It will never work, and yet they will keep bringing it back.
It was always so close.
Yeah.
It was. And then towards the end of 2019, they were like, right, we want to do another run-through. I'm like, oh, another one. And we tried it out, and I thought, you know what, actually... this format works.
Because the idea was trying to get you all together, wasn't it? And what that might look like.
Yeah.
It's quite a dangerous thing to put all 6 of us together, though.
Oh, yeah.
The egos and the brain power, the competitive warm-up quizzing that goes on in the dressing room.
Oh, really?
Is something to behold.
Well, I was going to ask you about how competitive it gets, and is there a spreadsheet involved? And who is in charge of it?
If there is, Mark Babette's got it.
Yeah, Mark will be on that.
Well, he used to be a maths teacher, and he's very keen on his statistics.
He loves stats. He loves to keep them. There's a big stats fan online who keeps a lot of stats as well. But Mark's is it's very comprehensive, and you can measure how well we're all doing against each other, accuracy and speed. So it keeps us on our toes, at least. But we don't read too much into it. We're family, really.
Naturally, you're all very competitive quizzes, and I always think it's fascinating watching you rush in to answer questions. And then when one of you gets a question wrong, which does happen occasionally, but it's the look on the other's eyes when you've got a question wrong and they knew the answer as well. How does that go down?
Yeah, I mean, that's embarrassing. It helps us to sort of realise what it is like for the team on the chase when, you know, the thing that trips them up is that they're not mind readers. They have to try and take a split second to work out, does anyone else know it? Does anyone have an idea? Is there someone who knows but is being slow on the buzzer? And, you know, that's what we have to start doing. So, for example, I tend to be the slowest on the buzzer. So, you know, I might know it. It might be a question that's right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of look along the line and see, is Anne sort of slowly, sloth-like reaching for the buzzer?
She knows it.
Yeah.
She knows it.
Does she know it or not? Or is she
yeah.
actually about to mess up?
But the person who kind of hangs everything together is always Bradley. He does it with so much charm. He's so brilliant at it.
Absolutely is. I mean, he is absolutely central. He's crucial to
And the
both shows.
contestants love him, and he walks that line brilliantly, where it's like the drama, but also kind of the funny and keeping everybody comfortable.
He's a great people person, and he will always find that common ground with every single contestant. It doesn't matter how nervous they are. You don't see the full chat with each contestant. He's been talking to them for quite a while.
Wherever
and
they're
can be
from,
like
he's
this.
been there.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he'll find a pub, or, you know, I know the main street there, or I've worked in that theatre, and he'll find some common ground, and it relaxes the contestant, and it means everyone's getting the best performance, and it's a masterclass, really, watching him work.
He's definitely got around our Bradley, hasn't he? There's nowhere he's not been, he's not worked, he's not done all sorts.
Or played,
Yes.
probably.
Has he forgiven you since you pranked him on Takeaway, though?
I think I've gone up in his estimation, because I don't think he thought I could act.
Really?
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
I had to keep up that act all day. It was essentially, we staged it as if it was an ordinary episode, so all day everything had to be as normal.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. This, watching Brad Beat and he storms off, that, and also the Midnight Game Show when he got done by Michael McIntyre and Fanny Schmeller turned up.
He wouldn't have known either.
No.
They did it on me and he didn't know.
Amazing.
On the Midnight Game Show, he definitely didn't know anything was going to happen because he actually hadn't got any clothes on.
Hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.